So this month I received dividend payments from 11 different companies, including some legendary dividend kings like Johnson & Johnson and 3M. And in this video, we're gonna go through each of those payments and total them all up at the end so you can see exactly how much I made in the month of September, and also so you can see my total dividend income so far in 2022. And on that note, not counting any of the dividends I received this month, my total dividend income so far in 2022 is $1,105.30, and my highest month of income ever was actually last month, where I brought in $192.33, almost breaking that $200 mark. Now, real quick, before we get into all the dividend payments, I want to hear from you guys. Leave me a comment below and let me know, what was your highest dividend this month and which company did it come from? I'd be very curious to hear. Anyway, thank you guys so much for doing that. And now getting into the first payment. This one came from Intel, ticker symbol INTC, who on the first day of September paid me $16.99. Now, you guys can see my Intel position right here in the middle of the screen. It is by far my portfolio's worst performing position right now. I have about 53.5 shares of Intel, and I'm down 37.2%, which is, nearing $1,000 loss at this point. And it's no surprise that this is my worst performer right now, guys. In the last month, Intel's down about 18.5%, which puts them at a year-to-date loss so far of 45%. So quite a substantial loss so far in 2022. And I guess if there's a silver lining here, it is that it's pushing that dividend yield up quite a bit to near 5%. So that yield is definitely getting up there with Intel. Now, moving on to the second payment I received just a few days after Intel. This one came from Southern Company, who paid me on September 6th. And Southern Company paid me this month $12.15, which brings our total so far for the month of September to $29.14. Now, Southern Company is holding strong for me, guys. I have 17.8 shares of Southern Company, and my average cost per share is right above $60, okay? And right now with this position, I'm up a whopping 30%, or a dollar gain of about $326. So my position with Southern Company is doing fantastic. Now, moving on to payment number 3, guys. This one came from Johnson & Johnson, a legendary dividend king with 59 years of consecutive dividend growth. And Johnson & Johnson paid me on September 6th a dividend of $12.51, which brings our total for the month so far to $41.65. Now, as far as my position goes, I have just over 11 shares of Johnson & Johnson at an average cost per share of $158.84. And I might want to consider contributing to this position a little more, because at this time, I'm up just under 5%, which is the lowest I've seen the stocks gain in a while. I usually sit at about an 8 to 15% gain with Johnson & Johnson, but seeing it up just below 5%, that's like getting very close to my average cost. So like I said, I might want to consider throwing a little money into Johnson & Johnson while I have the opportunity. All right, guys, next up is payment number 4. This one came from JEPI, the JP Morgan Premium Equity Income ETF, who paid me just one day after Johnson & Johnson on September 7th, and JEPI paid me a dividend of $9.54, which brings our total so far for the month to $51.19. Truth be told, there's really not much to say about my JEPI position, guys. I mean, I have 17 shares of this ETF, and I'm down just over 11%, 11 1/3%, and I really haven't contributed any money to this position since I first bought into this ETF about a year or so ago. I just bought in to collect that high dividend, and then I'm just manually reallocating those monthly dividend payments into other positions in my portfolio. All right, guys, next up, payment number 5 is coming from Snap-on, ticker symbol SNA, who paid me on September 9th, and Snap-on paid me a dividend of $12.75, which brings our total for the month of September so far to $63.94. Now, what I love about Snap-on, guys, is that it's not got the highest yield, as you can see. I mean, 2.64%. The payout ratio is pretty nice, but why I really love Snap-on is this growth rate, just under 15%. So you're getting a lot of great dividend growth from this company, and you're also getting a pretty decent dividend growth history of 12 consecutive years. Now, as it currently stands, I have just under 9 shares of Snap-on and an average cost per share of $211.04, and I'm up about 4.5% with this position right now. I actually would not mind if this stock got into the red if my position took a little bit of a loss, so I could average down, lower my average cost per share, and pick up some additional shares of this company, because I just love Snap-on. It's one of the favorite stocks in my portfolio, and I look forward to adding more. Now, payment number 6 is coming from Chevron, ticker symbol CVX, who paid me on September 12th, and Chevron paid me a dividend of $18.84, which brings us to a total so far of $82.78. Now, in contrast to what we saw with Intel, Chevron is my portfolio's best performing position. I have just over 13 shares of Chevron at an average cost of $93.54, which puts me at a total gain right now of 67, almost 68%. Huge gain with Chevron, guys, and that's no surprise. As you can see, this stock is up 60, almost 61% just in the last year. So Chevron has definitely experienced a nice little run up, which has resulted in a nice near $850 gain for me. Now, moving on to payment number 7, this one came from one of the most beaten down dividend kings out there, guys. This is 3M, ticker symbol MMM, who on September 12th paid me a dividend of $17.74. That's a nice payment from 3M. And that brings our total for the month of September, guys, to $100.52. We have officially broken the 3-digit mark for the month. Now you guys can see my 3M position right here at the top of the screen. Next to Intel, this is my portfolio's second worst performing position. I have almost 12 shares of this company at an average cost of $165.43. And right now I'm down nearly 30%, almost $600 loss with 3M right now. And so far, guys, in the last month, 3M is down a whopping 22.25%, which is unreal. And I guess the good thing is, if there was one, is that this loss in share price has pushed the dividend yield up to now over 5%, which is a pretty unreal dividend yield, very high yield. And this is a nice cherry on top to 3M's very high dividend growth history of 63 consecutive years. Like I said, guys, they're one of the most beaten down dividend kings out there right now. Now, payment number 8 is coming from the monthly dividend company, guys. This is Realty Income, ticker symbol O, who paid me a dividend on the 15th of September, and Realty Income paid me $9.18 for the month, which brings our total so far in September to $109.70. Now, this payment is coming right off the heels of a nice little dividend raise from Realty Income, where they boosted the dividend a whopping 0.2%. Wow, very generous. But all joking aside, guys, their dividend stats are looking pretty good. They have a nice high yield at 4.63% with 25 years of consecutive dividend growth. So they do have that dividend aristocrat status, which is sweet. Now, as far as my position goes, I have just over 37 shares of Realty Income at an average cost per share of $56.58. And I'm up about 13% with this position. I've seen it higher. It usually hovers around the 20 to 25% gain range. But right now I'm up about $275. So I guess I really can't complain. All right, guys, moving on. Payment number 9 is coming from Main Street Capital Corporation, ticker symbol Main, who also paid me on September 15th. And Main Street Capital Corporation paid me a dividend of $6.51, which brings our total for the month so far to $116.21. And as far as my position goes, as you can see, I have just over 30 shares of this bad boy at an average cost of $39.63. And right now, Main Street Capital Corporation is hovering right around my average cost per share. I'm down 0.23%. And truth be told, even though I'm right at my average cost per share, I can average down just a little bit. I'm not going to be adding any more to this position. This is one of the more risky stocks, I think, in my portfolio compared to some of the others like a Lowe's or Procter & Gamble or Snap-on or Southern Company. And I'd rather prioritize stable, reliable positions like those over more speculative, risky dividend income plays like Main Street Capital Corporation. I still think it's a good company, but I'm keeping a lower allocation of this stock in my portfolio. All right, guys, now these last 2 dividend payments are ones that I actually have not received yet in my portfolio at the time of this recording, but I did some reverse engineering, I did some quick math, and I was able to calculate how much I'll be bringing in from these last 2 dividend payments. The first of which is payment number 10 for the month, is going to be coming from Lockheed Martin, ticker symbol LMT. And as you guys can see, I have about 3.7 shares of Lockheed Martin, and every share is going to be paying out $2.80, which should give me a payment of about $10.35, which would bring our total for the month to $126.56. Now, moving on to the last payment of the month, guys, this one will be coming from XYLD. And as you can see, I have about 20.5 shares of this ETF. And XYLD pays a variable dividend, so every single month it's different. And if they stay in the same range that they have been these last handful of months, I should be getting about 43 cents per share, which means my payment coming in from XYLD should be roughly $8.89. And I want to reveal the grand total to you guys for the month, but first, let's jump over to the screen. All right, guys, now over here on my dividend portfolio tracking spreadsheet, which you can grab for free, there's a link in the description of this video. If we zoom in here real quick, I want to mosey on over to this monthly dividend income chart. So guys, the grand total income for the month of September was $135.45, which is a huge jump compared to this time last year. If we go back over to September 21, you guys can see I only made $69.18 this time last year, which reflects a year-over-year percentage gain in income of 95.78%. That is unreal, guys. And if we scroll over here to the annual dividend income, you guys can see that so far, this puts our annual dividend income in 2022 at $1,240.75. And with that, now that we've covered all of this month's payments, let's move on and go over and see which payments we can expect to receive in the month of October coming up. So now we're looking at, guys, is the payout calendar tool on the dividendtracker.com, which there's a link to try this out in the description of this video as well. And we can see that there's a good handful of payments coming in October. We've got one from JEPI, which that's a monthly dividend payer, so we know that's coming in. We're going to be getting a nice payment coming in from Coca-Cola, about $10.20. We're going to be getting the first ever dividend payment from KRC, which is one of the newer positions in my portfolio. Main Street Capital is going to be paying as per usual. They pay every single month. We're going to be getting a nice payment from Altria Group. group. Almost $50 from this company. Okay, another monthly payment coming in from Realty Income. And if we scroll all the way down here, we can see that WP Carey will be bringing in a nice near $20 payment, and XYLD will be paying us as well. But at any rate, this should result in an income total of about $114. Hopefully it's a little bit higher there. And then foreshadowing the month of November, guys, it's going to be a new all-time high record. We're going to break over $200 of income in November, and I am so excited to make this video, guys. I'm so stoked to hit this milestone, so stay tuned for that. And with that, if you guys are looking to pick up some more dividend stocks this month, then check out this next video right over here. In this one, I'm telling you about 4 of the best, cheapest dividend stocks to buy in the month of October. You guys are not going to want to miss this one. So click right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.